welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Cricut 15-inch loom by Schacht. There's also a 10-inch tabletop loom as well, and this is actually really fun and simple, and you'll be very surprised at how quick it takes in order to make up a scarf. So let's go over some of the basics first. So a closer look at the scarves that you can apply. You can also do placemats, you can also do panel work, you can do lots of things with this particular product. You'll be very surprised on how soft these scarves are. A lot of people comment that it looks like it's really stiff, like it would be almost upholstery of a couch, but when you actually feel these things, they're really quite amazing and just kind of really drape off you very nicely. What surprises many people is that most of the yarns that you're seeing here is actually scrap yarn or at least partially scrap yarn. So let's review some of the materials that you can use on this loom. High-end, scrap yarn, medium, whatever you want to use, you can do it. You just got to be very conscientious, and I'm going to show you about that later on what yarns you should choose to go in which direction, because some of these yarns, there's actually a hummingbird looking at me in the window, there's actually some of these yarns that you cannot use in one direction or the other, and I'll explain that further in a bit. So what you can just do is that you can mix up your yarns together. When they actually contrast to each other, amazing effects, and when they blend together, again, amazing. So what I've done is that I've used scrap yarns pretty much for most of my projects for doing it in the lengthwise, and then basically I'm using a nice higher end yarn or a medium end. This scarf is probably about $7. It's so cheap it's not even funny. And basically I use transitioning yarn just like you see here, and it's transitioning as it's going up, and it changes the contrasting of the actual stripes as it moves up, and then you can see how it blends more depending on where the color is coming out of the ball, and we'll explain that more to a bit. So it's a great idea, a great way to use up your stash, and a lot of fun at the same time. Right here, another scrap scarf here, and what I did is that I used scrap yarns, just going back and forth, just the whole thing, up and down. And what I then did is that I used a Line brand amazing yarn, and I weaved that all the way through. I weaved the entire ball in for this one, and you'll see that there's little flecks of line colors that actually exist within the Line brand ball. So the yarn has not been cut at all, and what you see and how it's transitioning is exactly how it came off the ball of Line brand's amazing. When you look at this one here, this is Red Heart, and I used 2 Red Heart products for this. And what I did is I did the clips going in this, and the clips actually has a transition as well, so you'll notice it's almost pinstriping because the yarn transitioned as I did it this way. And then for back and forth I used the Treasure by Boutique, Red Heart Boutique, and then you'll see that the color is transitioning to the deep oceanics. It's called Mosaic, and it was transitioning throughout. So people ask me, how long does it actually take to do a scarf? You're looking at about 3 to 4 hours, depending if you're talking to me it's about 3, if you're talking to me it's about 4, depending how bad you're distracting me. So it depends on what's good on TV, if you've got your eyes always up on it and you slow yourself down. But it's amazing how quick this goes. People are just so stunned when I've been demonstrating in live shows, and they go out and then they come back about half hour later and they realize how far I've gone. I've actually timed myself. I can actually do about 14 inches of scarf in about 17 minutes. I think that's pretty cool too. And the actual product that you use changes the speed as well. So for example, I used a thicker yarn going in the cross direction, therefore there'll be less times that I actually have to weave back and forth because it's going to grow quicker. And then when you use thinner yarns, it's obviously going to take more. So it's up to your yarn basically, but you're looking around 3 to 4 hours, which I think shocks a lot of people. So now let's get looking at this machine more in depth and showing you how it works. So this is it. This will finish off your lesson for today. You can move on to the next lesson. The choices will be on the screen. And you know what? You can just propel yourself. It doesn't take much time to do one of these projects, so you might be able to do this whole video series today as you're following along on my tutorial. Until next time, I'm Mikey from the Crochet Crowd.